Welcome to the Anodized Chef. I am your host, Steve Anderson, and we are rocking breakfast this morning. Stay with us. So you wake up on Sunday morning and you want to do something fun and exciting for breakfast. You want to make something for the kids, you want to get the kids involved. What I'm going to show you how to do today is we're going to make breakfast burritos. We got some really great stuff here. What I would suggest is make an event out of it. Plan ahead and buy this stuff ahead of time. Saturday nights, and you wake up on Sunday morning, you already know you have all this stuff ready to go. So you come out and you just have to put this together. All the recipes will be on the website and you'll be able to check it all out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to show you how to do is make a homemade salsa. Now they have the processed salsas are pretty good. Some of them are pretty decent. You can go ahead and use your favorite one there if you want, or you can take the time and make the fresh one like we're gonna do right here, and this makes a big difference. So we're gonna get started with a nice medium-sized bowl here, and I've already taken the time to prep some of this stuff, and we'll talk about the ingredients as we go in. I've got some diced Roma tomatoes, and all I did was I just put a dice on these. We'll put those in the bowl. I got some diced onions. And that's probably about, on the tomatoes, it's probably about a cup and a half. We're going to probably put about a half a cup of diced onions in there. I got some nice colorful bell peppers going in there too. We're going to put some of those in there. Got some green onions, these are scallions. And all I did was I cut them on a bias. And I'm going to probably put about 2 tablespoons of those in there. And see, I got some green bell peppers in there. Same thing, I just put about a half-inch dice on them. Throw some of them in there. And that looks like we got about enough stuff on the vegetables there. So now we're going to go into the hot peppers. Now here, we've got some varietals on the hot peppers here. I've got a Scotch bonnet and just a diced green pepper here. So what I'm going to do is, and be careful now, these are hot. So I'm going to go in moderation on this because we got a family of kids that are going to eat too. Some of them like hot stuff, some of them don't. So we're just going to go a little bit easy. And I say combined, I'm probably going to put about a teaspoon of peppers in there. You can adjust that according to however you want. If you want a lot in there, knock yourself out. So we're going to go ahead and give this a quick toss. Kind of get those flavors. And the more this sits, the better it's going to be. So that's why we're doing this first. So it'll have time to marinate while we do the rest of the stuff there. And as you can see, it's a nice colorful medley. So now the aromatics are going to go in. And we're going to put probably about a pinch, maybe a half a teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. And we're going to go liberally on this chopped cilantro. And this is fresh cilantro. You can use dried, but I prefer fresh. Fresh is a much better product when you get it from the grocery store in the produce section. It's just a much, much better product. Then we're going to go ahead and put some fresh lemon juice in there. And this is going to be off the charts by the time we're done, I'll tell you. So now what I want to do is, I have a little basket here, but the main reason is just to prevent seeds from getting in there. So we're going to go ahead and squeeze that lemon juice. And all I did was I cut it in half. Now you can stick a fork in there and twist it too, but like I said, you just want to watch out for the seeds. A couple of good tricks to extracting the most juice out of the lemon. One is to put it on the cutting board and give it a roll like this, and that helps to break up the membranes. Or you can pop it in the microwave for like 10 or 15 seconds. And I saw a woman celebrity chef taught me how to do that on TV. So all right, so we've got a pretty decent amount here, probably about a quarter cup of lemon juice. I'm going to put about half of that in there. We don't want it to be too lemony. So now we're going to give this a toss and let those flavors come together even more. Because we got that cilantro in there. We get that lemon juice in there. Oh, the smells coming out of this are incredible. And now once that acid hits the hot peppers, it's going to extract more of the flavor from the peppers out of it too, out of everything as a matter of fact. So now we're going to just add a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic. I've got the Edge. It's our own homemade seasoning. And it's got a blend of everything. It's got salt, pepper, a little garlic powder. It's got some other herbs in there, paprika. So we're just going to add probably a total of about a teaspoon of salt, about a half to a quarter teaspoon of everything else, pepper, black pepper, and garlic, etc. And then we're just going to set this aside. And that's our homemade salsa. And I'll tell you something, this is superior to anything you can buy. because it's a fresh garden salsa. So now we're going to put this off to the side. We're going to get right into our guacamole. Now, when you go shopping for avocados, you check for ripeness by giving it a gentle squeeze. And if it starts to give underneath your fingers when you squeeze it, that's a pretty good sign. If it's too mushy, don't buy it. It's going to be overripe. But you want ripe. So basically what I'm doing is I'm actually going to use the big knife so it's a better example. You want to cut right down the middle from the stem to the tip. And just roll it right under the knife all the way around. Completely roll it all the way around. And then you're going to just give it a twist like this and pop out. Now the seed is going to pop out on one side. One of the sides that's going to come out. And then you just take your knife and see that little base right there? Just pop that seed right out of there, okay? You can discard that. Now, we'll take our other medium bowl here, and we're actually going to do this twice, so you'll be able to see me do it again. We're just going to scoop that soft avocado right out of there and right into a bowl. I'm going to make a homemade guacamole to go in this, and I'll tell you, I never liked guacamole till I was an adult. I always thought avocados were gross until I actually found out that, hey, when somebody actually made it for me and put the seasonings in the right way, I was duly impressed. So now again, I'm just rolling it under the knife, letting the knife do the work, and then you just give it a twist, pop it out, and there's the seed. Backhand that nut, twist it, and it pops right out. Now be careful when you're taking the nut off, because you're with that sharp edge there, you don't want to cut yourself. It should come out relatively easy. So we're going to go back into here with the other half of it, the other avocado. Just be careful because that skin is very tough. You want to just get that meat. So now we're going to take this avocado and we're going to mash it up with a fork. And really, chunky is okay, so don't be too disheartened if it doesn't mash up to a creamy consistency, because once we add some of the other ingredients, that'll come. So to break it all up with a fork and run it right up the sides. This is a perfectly ripened avocado too, by the way. Making a lot of noise with this bowl. I personally like my guacamole to be chunky and have a little bit of texture to it. So a lot of places you'll find it, it's like a spread almost. I like it like a salsa. All right, so this is the start of it. Now we're going to go ahead and add our ingredients, and as we mix it up, it's going to continue to break down a little bit. So we're going to add the other half of that lemon juice, probably with the two avocados, probably about a teaspoon of lemon juice. We're going to add about a half a teaspoon of garlic, about a teaspoon of cumin. Let's add a little bit of veggie to it too. Let's add some onion to it. Maybe a little green onion as well. And you can add diced tomatoes, you can add any kind of veggie. Some people put cucumbers in it if you like. We're going to sprinkle probably about a half a teaspoon of the edge in there. And I love cilantro, can't have enough of it. So throw about a tablespoon of cilantro in it, and we'll mix that up. And now, oh, yeah, see, I can feel it starting to break down. That lemon juice is really going to do the trick as well. But I want to give it a taste. Oh, is that good? Fresh avocados, fresh guacamole is the easiest thing to make in the world. I don't know why people buy it. So now let's take our two bowls here, and we're going to go ahead and set up our presentation bowls. Go ahead and put this right in there. And our fresh salsa will go in a bowl also. Get that ready for showtime. This smells amazing. Fresh lemon and cilantro, how can you go wrong with that? All right, so that's basically our two sauces that we're gonna serve on the side. We're also gonna open up some sour cream and throw that in there as well. So let's get right into the potatoes. Now what I've done here is I've taken some Yukon Gold potato, and as you can see I've thinly sliced it right here. We're gonna finish working it in just a second. And some sweet potato. Same thing, I've sliced it nice and thin, probably about a 1/4 inch dice on the potato. And I've got some here now already diced and already mixed together. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the actual potatoes that we've got sliced here and we're gonna turn it into that. And we're gonna do that by just cutting it into thin strips like this. And this is how we do it. Now see, notice I left the skin on the Yukon Gold, which is absolutely okay. On the sweets you probably want to take it off because it's a little bit grainier, it's a little bit dirtier. But the Yukons are nice and light. They break down nice and easy. And then we're going to do the same thing with the sweet potato. Be very careful with the knife, but cut it into thin strips. And then we're going to turn it this way, stack them all up together, and we're going to go in the other direction. And that's how you do a nice dice. This is actually it's about a medium dice. You can go a little bit finer, like when you're doing garlic or ginger, you're going to mince them a little bit smaller, but then when you do vegetables, you go a little bit bigger. So that's why I call this one a medium dice. And that's pretty much it. Now, come over here and let's get our burner fired up. Now, I would use a non-stick, hard anodized pan, obviously. And then we're going to start with butter. Now, everything in moderation, okay? A little bit of butter, very important because it's flavor. Fat is flavor. And we can use olive oil, sure, but with home fries, it's a preference thing. I believe you got to have butter in it. You know, if you want to try to use your cholesterol-free stuff or margarine or whatever your preference is, you can, but my personal preference is butter. And this is one area where I'm not going to sacrifice when you're doing breakfast potatoes. So we're going to go ahead, heat that butter up. I'm going to go ahead and mix this potato together here. As that butter's getting ready to go, you want to catch it before it browns. Now you don't want to burn it, so. Yep, we're already going here, which is phenomenal. So we got onions. Throw a little bit of green onion in there. And don't crowd the pan too much. You can always do it in batches. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna brown this up. And as the butter's cooking, as the butter's browning, the edges are gonna get really brown. And it's gonna cook, and you want it, once you get the pan really going, turn it down to a medium heat so you don't really burn, because you want the potatoes to cook too. Because remember, this is a raw potato, it's gonna take a little bit of time. We didn't boil anything ahead or anything like that, so really what we wanna do is we want to cook them completely in this, but we don't want the butter to burn, so we're gonna do it at a medium heat. Take your time with it. And again, you can do it in a bigger skillet. You could probably fit more potatoes in there if you've got a family of 4 or 5, whatever. This way here, you're spreading everything out, and the heat source, the heat's getting on everything. It's not, because if you overcrowd the pan, you're not getting all surface. So, so we're going to let this cook just a little bit, and we're going to kiss it with a little bit of edge. And it's better to salt a little bit at a time because you can't take salt away. So I just give it a little kiss, and I'm going to season it again at the end once I taste it. But as it browns up, it's probably going to take you about 10 minutes. What you're going to do is you're just going to keep shaking it. You see I'm tossing it like this. And if you want to learn how to saute like this, practice with some peppercorns. If you take some peppercorns out of your cabinet, not on the stove, but just in a pan, put 5 or 6 peppercorns in it and just roll them. And as they roll inside the pan, they'll roll around in there. You'll get a better feel for how to saute. And before you know it, you'll be flipping omelets. So that's that. We'll brown them up. And then I'm going to show you now what they look like when they're all done. And then when they're all browned up, that's what we're going to be going for. Right there. You can see how they're all nice and browned up. Cooked all the way through, nice and tender. I added a little bit more edge to them. So now, we're going to go ahead and get right into our burrito. Okay, now we're getting right into the burrito. We're going to talk about the ingredients we have here before we get started. I've got some Monterey Jack shredded cheese. I've got some shredded cheddar. I've got a nice variety of things here. I've got some bell pepper, some onion, basically the same stuff we put in some of the salsa there. I've got some black beans. I'm trying to sneak some health in with some shredded spinach. And then I also have some yellow pepper that we put in the salsa as well, some diced tomatoes, and some green onions. For the meats, I've got some breakfast sausage. It's just your standard breakfast sausage that I cut up on an angle. I've got some nice chorizo sausage, which really adds another dimension to it. It's a little bit spicier. Then I got some cooked up bacon. And then we're going to finish it off with some refried beans. And I've got some fresh chopped cilantro in the edge we're going to add in there as well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the pan, just a tiny bit of butter. And we're going to saute up some of those veggies first. So let's see, what are we going to put in our burrito? I say we put a little bit of everything in there. We'll do some onions and peppers. Put a little bit of that spinach in there. You got to get your vitamins somewhere, you know? So then I'll get the tomatoes and the bell peppers in there. Veggies. Then I'm going to throw a little bit of pinch of the black beans in there as well. Let's get that all sauteing up. Oh yeah. So first we're gonna soften the vegetables in the oils a little bit here, and it's called sweating them. When you start to see the onions become a little bit more translucent, then you'll know that it's almost time to get ready to add your other components. And as you can see, they're getting a little bit clear now. So we're gonna go ahead and add our breakfast meats to them. And I say we do a nice little composed mix. We'll do a little bit of everything here. Let's put some sausages, 2 different kinds of sausage. Put the bacon right in there. And now, while this is going, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our eggs to the bowl here. Let's crack these up. Start with a 2-egg, almost like if we were making an omelet. Do a 2-egg omelet. Scramble this up. We want to go kind of, you could do this up ahead. You don't have to worry about getting it done on time. But I don't want this stuff to burn here, so I'm kind of going a little bit quicker. I just want to make sure we're ready. So as you can see, it's all coming together in there. The meats are cooking now too. And remember, all the meats are all fully cooked, so you don't have to worry about making sure anything's done. You cook all that stuff up ahead. So now we're going to add our egg to it. And let's scramble the heck out of this. Yeah, baby. So it's like a 2-egg scramble with all kinds of love. And again, you add the salt at the very end because you want to make sure you're not... See how I just flipped that over? You want to get both sides, make sure everything is good and cooked. I'm not a big fan of biting into egg and having it run across my mouth. It's kind of gross. I want to make sure everything's good and cooked. Some people like it nice and soft, but I like mine cooked, thank you very much. We're going to add just a pinch of edge. Again, add the salt at the end, making sure we're good. Now, let's add our tortillas on the table here. We'll start with the plain one here. Now, you can get these tortillas at the grocery store. They have all different flavors, tomato, spinach, wheat. Let's start with the plain one here. I'm going to turn this down so we don't burn our eggs. Now we're going to start with a little smack of this refried bean here. This is your convenience stuff. Just look for the low sodium if you can help it. Because they're finding out more and more that sodium is one of the biggest killers here. Okay, so now we've got that in there. Let's go ahead and throw a mix of cheese in there. A little bit of a blend of everything here. There we go. And you can go light on the cheese or heavy on the cheese depending on what you want to do as far as your dietary restrictions. And I'm going to lay our eggs right in there. Now you can spoon them out if you want, if you feel more comfortable. And that, you see the nice hot egg in there is going to melt that cheese down real nice. So now what you do is it's just like rolling a burrito. You're going to take both sides, kind of tuck them in a little bit, flip it over on the top, and then pull. And see how my fingers are kind of pulling everything in right into the tortilla. So that way there it'll help to stay nice and tight. Okay? Then split it like this and pow. Now, I would advise putting your sauces on the side. And the main reason why is because if you put your salsa and your sour cream and your guacamole in there, you're going to have one sloppy mess when you try to cut into it. So what I would recommend doing, and this is what I would prefer myself, is to kind of put those sauces on the side to accompany. So we've got the salt, we've got fresh salsa, we've got fresh guacamole, and we've got fresh sour cream. Oh, look at that salsa. The colors coming out of the salsa are ridiculous. And it's gonna have a nice little bite to it as well. And then we'll finish it off with some sour cream. And we'll top it off at the end with some of our homemade hash browns. And I'll tell you what, you bring this into the bedroom for your woman on a Sunday morning while she's still sleeping with a nice fresh hot cup of coffee, and you're all set. So now let's do this here. Just gotta put a little bit of cilantro on top, make it look like a restaurant did it. And that's really all there is to it. All the recipes will be up on the website. You can check them out. I would strongly encourage everyone to do something fun on breakfast on the weekend. So, there it is. Today we chose, now I don't know if you necessarily drink wine with breakfast, but if it's a brunch, it's all good. Okay, so, so maybe afternoon time you decide you want to do this, but I've chosen a Beaujolais-Villages, which in 2006 had a phenomenal year. That was my favorite wine that year. But this is in 2008, and it's by Georges Debœuf, and it's a red wine, somewhat acidic, but it kind of complements the hot peppers and the sausages. And I think that because of the red sausage that's in there, it's a perfect match for this. So I would highly recommend an afternoon breakfast. And you could do breakfast for dinner if you wanted to. My wife loves it when I make breakfast for dinner. So, so you could do this, the nice red Georges Debœuf Beaujolais-Villages. This year is 2008. Thank you very much for joining us in our madness, magic, and mayhem. We will see you next time. Oh wow, is that good? If you like pepper bop, you will love this. That's why I say it goes so well with salsa. This is a salsa wine right here, there's no doubt about it.